Anyway, sorry about the washed out color. I don't think there's anything else I can do. Put a little bit more color on the back. It'll help. I don't know. I think I'm going to be washed out no matter what. So, sorry. Okay, so there's a lot of vocab in this chapter, nations and things like that. The best approach I will recommend is figure out the ones that are most useful to you. What is your family? What are your where have you been? Where anything, whatever makes them useful to you. It's really hard to memorize vocab if it has no connection to you. There's also, I put down here, a website, spreadthesign.com. It's probably the best website that I have found. There was one a few years ago that I think this may have absorbed. I don't know whatever happened. I can't find the link anymore. That had international signs, but this is probably the best one currently. And you could do a search. I can open up the web page. Boosh. Spread the sign right there. And it's got a bunch of different resources. They're constantly adding to it. So it seems like the best website that I can recommend. Let me jump back here. All right. So north, north and south, central, right? So North America, like South America, Central America, Canada, Mexico, and then Cuba. And I believe Cuba also uses this sign as well, which this used to be a sign for Australia. And I'll show you what the new sign, Australia. These fingers, Australia. You sort of pick it up, Australia, and drop it off. Pick it up and drop it off. Puerto Rico, I've also seen, let me jump over to spread the sign. Okay, hopefully you can see on spread the sign, Puerto Rico. But most often, I think I've seen this variation, Puerto Rico. What's nice about spread the sign is they will also add the signs from other foreign sign languages. So sometimes it's good to compare, get an idea what other people are using, because you never know when you may see them. All right, let me jump back over here. US, USA, or just America. And for the most part, practice fingerspelling all of the names of countries, because that'll be a good default if you know where on the map. If you draw the continent, place it. Sometimes you'll see this for North America and this for South America, right? So you can kind of see how the shape kind of makes sense, right? Israel, and the sign for Jewish is this, Jewish, Israel, Hebrew. Iran is this, the tip of the thumb into the palm, and Iraq is a Q into the palm. And again, use spread the sign if you want to look for specific ones. Wow, now I'm really yellow. Feeling jaundiced, and that's even more washed out. I just can't get the lighting right. This office sucks. Anyway, maybe because the black. Anyway, Asia or A area, Asia. Japan it's the shape the islands take. Japan. Now China is signed this, and my understanding is that that's actually technically the sign for Beijing. And there was a mix-up where someone was asked where they were from. They answered Beijing, and someone assumed they meant China as a general sign. So this is the American sign for China. Now, I believe in China they use this because their character is a line and a rectangle across it. So that's my understanding. Check with spread the sign, see if that's the most updated. Taiwan. can't remember which direction it goes. But you can look through Korea, um, India. I've seen, this lighting is right. So India is like the religious dot that's on the forehead, and there are other signs. There's a asterisk here. I think I put it on the next slide. I've seen Vietnam, but I believe there's probably more current ones. That tends to be the most. If you start looking at the history of ASL vocab for countries, you'll find that they started out rather culturally offensive, and they got better. Hong Kong, the process of making them better has most often been adopting whatever that country uses. I'm not going to go through and do all of the signs because I think you'll do better to pick them up gradually, and this would just be a vocab list, and those are really boring. Here's where the I'll move this over, the asterisks that distinguish the sign for Asian Indian versus North American Indian, and all the problems that are part of that whole cultural misunderstanding. So we'll go through and in class we'll go over what ones we need, and you can find them yourself. But a really big thing I want to point out is the best way to practice them is to talk about yourself and then ask other people. There's this assumption that we talk about our nationality a lot. I know here in culture, we do talk about it, but we don't talk about it as much as networking, as much as within the deaf community. There's a lot more of that in terms of finding a shared identity with people. In hearing culture, we tend to do that within the group, but we don't really do a lot of that outside. So it's kind of an awkward thing to get used to doing. Talk about your family, talk about their background, why they left a country, why they came to a country. Those kind of vocab will start to become more and more important as we start talking about family trees. Think about it in the nation, the nationalities and the countries that you're going to talk about, the cultures. What are the things that stand out? What are the ways that people might know it? And just be prepared to talk about those things. So look up the signs, famous people from there, sports. And again, all of this is just simple vocab. The main thing is just to be sort of prepped and know what you could do. Customs. And then this is homework from the student book, which you have. So I don't need to go through it. I probably will put them in the PowerPoints at some point, but I don't need to do it right now. So go to Spread the Sign, take a look at the specific ones that you need, and then we'll go over them in class so everybody can learn those.